we're all gods. Every human on this earth is a god. And the bigger you get, the more fame you obtain, the more influence you have, you start becoming gods over gods. So the mindset in LA right now, which is scary, is that all these influencers, all these celebrities, they're convinced they are God. And their job is to become gods over the gods. And that's how you gain power. That's how you gain success. And so when you ask what is the culture for the future of LA, right now, I can tell you, it's these people are convinced that they are gods over the earth.
What it is, my lifers. Welcome to another episode of the Lyfe After Podcast. This your boy Flo.
Yo, it's your boy Mick James. What's up?
Oh,
My name is Tucker Howell.
and he taking us all the way across the globe. All right, so y'all stay tuned.
You are tuning in to the Lyfe After Podcast.
Lyfe After Podcast. Remember, Lyfe After.
The Lyfe After Podcast.
Lyfe After Podcast, baby. Woo! Don't you miss that.
What it is, my lifers. Welcome back. All right. First of all, I want to thank everybody who's watching this right now. Today, we're gonna march together down the path of a Tucker Howell story. What's up, Tucker?
What's up, Flo?
How you feeling?
I feel good.
It's good to have you here.
Yeah, it's good to talk about stuff.
Yeah, man. So, first of all, let me check with my brother over here. How you doing, my brother?
You know, I'm always good, man. Always good. Okay. Always up, ready to talk to y'all, ready to connect, ready to build. So let's go.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. Okay, cool. So let's get right into it. We ain't gonna waste no time. You want to waste some time?
No, we don't need to waste time.
We ain't got time to waste.
What do you want to do?
All right, so this is what I want to do right here. I want to know who is Tucker first and foremost. Let's get like a brief little short story of who is Tucker.
Good question. Who am I now or who was I before?
Let's start with who you are now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm 23. Right now I do a lot of social media work. I like to have a camera in my hand. I like to help people grow their companies, help them grow their brand. Outside of work, honestly, I just strive to be like the best person I can, treat others the way they want to be treated. I don't know. I don't like to personally gain if it hurts other people. So I like to stay on the right path, take the hard road. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like you've been through a lot.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I feel like experience doesn't always come from you going through stuff.
Yep.
Sometimes it could be from what you see in another person's life. And that's a really wise person. If I could look at my brother or my sister get burnt from the fire and be able to not go with that curiosity that I have and try to go figure it out myself. Yeah. I think that makes you really wise, and that's the experience too. So yeah, you've seen a lot, but you also been through a lot, my boy. And I'm not gonna lie, like what is it that made you really, really decided? Because anybody that have those type of that moral that you have now, like you care more about people. Yes. I'm listening to the keywords and I didn't hear I, me. You know what I want to do, try to treat myself right. I mean, obviously you got to the point where you kind of do that automatically. Yeah. And now you're about shedding that off to other people. So what happened? Like, what was this big thing that you went through to make you change your perspective?
We'll get into it, but when I was 19, I was living in LA, which is what we're going to talk about. But I feel like I lived the dream that our generation's chasing. I really did live it. I've lived in people's houses that are well known. I've partied with people that are well known, and the best way I can say it, it's the most empty feeling ever. Like there's no satisfaction. There's no, like, living for yourself in that situation it just leaves you empty. So I kept chasing it and chasing it and chasing it. And the farther I got chasing it, the more I realized it's just unfulfilling. There's nothing to it. And so when I finally got out of the scene, I started like reevaluating, like, why did I feel happier before I started doing this? Why did what was different before I started social media? What was different before I moved to LA that now I don't have anymore? And that was just like caring more about the community, caring more about the people around you, really focusing on treating people right, not benefiting myself. And once I started focusing on that, bro, my joy came back, my happiness came back. And then I was like, what's the point? Like, what's the point in chasing what I was chasing? So.
Right. And you was talking about that emptiness and bro, I'm pretty sure a lot of people who have the kind of the same mindset that we do, they went through that phase, you know, when they was trying to find completion in external things, in these material stuff. But then when they went on that road and saw it for themselves, it was like there was nothing fascinated about it. Anyways, it really didn't solve any problem whatsoever. You know, so that's good to hear, man. What's up, my brother?
I mean, I'm just listening to y'all right now, but I think it is a really significant experience to go through. When you get to that point and everything's about self-fulfillment and building up yourself, and then you feel like shit. Yeah. Because that's what everything's about. That's what, you know, everything you're doing is centered around, you know, building up yourself. And then you get there and it's like, I don't feel nothing. Yeah. And then you realize that the only reason that you're feeling good is because you can make your brother or your sister feel good. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's really what understanding that I've come into with it. You feel me? And now whenever I go into those states and whenever I do like psychedelic drugs or something, it's trying to rewire my mind and like redesign myself so that I can be more of a service to like the other people around me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, it's definitely good that you went through that experience early in life, because there's people who chase that and chase that and chase
it's a blessing.
And they get to be like 35 or something.
Midlife crisis.
Yeah. So it's good that you got that wisdom now and that you can just like take all these many more steps that you have with that knowledge, you know?
Yeah. And it reminds me of when you was, remember the episode we did when you was talking about getting burnt out? Yeah. Like these people just go on this travel, and by the time they return with the news that, it wasn't hitting on nothing, bro. It was not about nothing. And they want to come and share it with people. By that time, a lot of people be burnt out, you know? And by the time you hit 30s, your mid 30s especially, if you don't already have that fuel and that fire in you that you were supposed to gain during that 20s and late 20s and stuff like that, if you don't have that fire to bring with you to keep you going, tell you're not going to be motivated.
Yeah, man, because I feel like a lot of what we do now, and once you reach a point of wisdom, you get to the point of I'm building and I'm learning and I'm setting up these systems around myself so that when I'm gone, everyone around me is good. Yeah. If you're just constantly on this path of self-fulfillment, bro, when you're gone, if anything, the people around you are going to be worse off because you ain't give no effort into supporting these people around you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I feel like kind of having that mindset and kind of seeing, not having a myopic view, a short-sighted view of life, and seeing beyond yourself even. Yeah. You know what I mean? Puts you into like a different kind of state. So.
No, I agree. I think my biggest mindset change was when I really started to think like, like planning out 10 years ahead, planning out 5 years ahead, where do I want to be? And like, I want a family, I want kids, I want a wife, you know what I'm saying? And like you're saying, if you're really only focusing on like your success or your benefits, it's important to like look forward and say, is this going to help my kids out in the future? Is this going to prepare my family? And yeah, it's important. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, man. Because a lot about like people talk about your diet and like what you eat, and that's like good for like your body health and everything. Yep. But a lot of people don't think about diet as in like what's on your feed. Yes. What do you put in your mind? Ear? What do you like? What are you feeding your spirit with? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because your spirit needs food just like your body needs food. You need that soul food.
That's soul food.
That's facts. Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like that's super important. Just to have that mindset. I wonder when you were out there in Hollywood, because my kind of view of it is that this whole city and this whole economy that's been built there has been built around the facade and has been built around a lot of external things. Yeah. Like you go to Rodeo Drive so you can be seen there, and you go to a lot of these parties so you can be seen. Yep. And a lot of it is about perception. Yes. Perception to other people becomes your reality because now, you're on screen, and if, people can cancel you, and it's like a lot of like the internal work that people do is not valued. Yeah. You feel me?
That's one of the reasons I left LA, because like it's a constant like fight, because you're always around people and you're always having to keep up this like character in a way. Like I could say I definitely on the regular would interact with 200-300 people a day in my daily life. And I felt required to every person I interacted with be this TikTok kid or social media kid. And it wasn't like me. It wasn't like, you know, like sit down, have a real conversation like this. This never happened. This wasn't, no, you don't talk about life. You don't talk about your struggles. It's always like, what can I offer these people that they want to be around me? Like high energy, high spirit, high happiness, like this false facade. But yeah.
And that reminded me the other day when we was talking about that culture. So we did an episode on culture, and LA, I wouldn't say LA, Hollywood definitely sounds like it has its own culture right now, and it's built with a weak foundation.
Yeah.
And my only concern is, what do you think is the future for LA? If you were to, what do you see LA as?
You want to get into it?
Let's get into
it.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna start with a little story that's gonna lead into that question.
Let's hear it.
I lived in LA for a year, and I started like, you got to build up your ranks, like who you hang out with. Like some people just jump to the top. Like if you meet the right person, they like you, you kind of get invited into that clique. But it's basically like a ladder. So late in my LA career, I was in a house with a bunch of famous people, and it was, I wouldn't call it like an initiation, but it was like I'm not too sure if it was the Illuminati or what it was, but I can tell you what happened was they got everyone in the house to take like crap ton of psychedelics, a bunch of shrooms, open up your subconscious so that they can implant information in there. And they had, when everyone started tripping, they had a bunch of people come in, like girls and people that were all a part of this group, and go around and start whispering in everyone's ear this ideology of, we're all gods. Every human on this earth is a god. And the bigger you get, the more fame you obtain, the more influence you have, you start becoming gods over gods. So the mindset in LA right now, which is scary, is that all these influencers, all these celebrities, they're convinced they are God. And their job is to become gods over the gods. And that's how you gain power. That's how you gain success. And so when you ask what is the culture for the future of LA, right now, I can tell you, it's these people are convinced that they are gods over the earth.
Are they like striving to take over the world, or is that just contained within LA?
It's a good question. I think they're striving for influence. I think influence is the most powerful thing.
As far as they can go, no limitation. Dominating every square feet of this planet.
Yeah, put yourself in the shoes if you think you're a god. Like what is your goal? Your goal is to be God over everyone. Your goal is to be looked up at, like love, like you want your followers, you want the people to look up to you and want to be like you, like a god. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's different representations of a god. There's the one true God. There's the religions that have many gods, and each one people look at and they take attributes from that God and they say, I want to be like that. They want to learn from it. So these people are convinced that the more influence they gain, they're becoming a greater God.
And I want you to kind of elaborate on something that I feel like is in connection with that. This Will Smith and Chris Rock thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that have anything to do with it?
First of all, that whole situation's weird. It didn't look right. Yeah. Nothing about it looked right. It didn't look legit. At first I thought it was staged, but then I started like looking into it, and I started realizing like the things I know based off of how Hollywood works. I would say Will Smith, let's just talk how Hollywood talks, right? Will Smith is a greater God than Chris Rock. In the big picture, big scheme of things, like Will Smith is a great God, or up there. He's up there. He's got all the influence. He's got the power. So when a lower God is disrespecting you as a higher God, I'm pretty sure, like, if you look at Hollywood pictures, there's pictures of like celebrities with black eyes. There's pictures of these weird, like, why would this celebrity, why would the Pope have a black eye? He's got security. No one's touching him. But if you disrespect a higher God, I think there's this ideology that I have the right as a God to physically hit you or to punish you in a certain type of way, to show you can't do that to me. You don't have the right. I'm better. I'm greater than you.
So he had to do something
to show it. If he sit back and let it happen, then he's basically giving Chris Rock the power to be a greater God in that moment.
Yes, because news over there flies.
Yeah.
And I think that's how if everybody's dying of thirst for credibility and position and influence and all that, and this type of news is going around about you.
Yeah.
You know, you don't look so much as a God that you want to be.
Yeah. He's basically stepping on him. He's like, you're down here. I'm gonna just stomp on your head a little bit, disrespect your wife.
That's hella crazy.
I mean, that's a crazy system that you just explained of what's set up here, right?
Yeah.
Because if they're looking at other people in Hollywood as, yo, I'm above you, I'm a god, imagine how they're looking at normal people.
Yes.
Living in Iowa, normal people living in Africa. That's not even in their mindset.
No.
Besides, like, let me get this person to follow me.
Yep.
And then my next thought is like, all right, you want to be a god, you want to be a leader, you want all these people to listen to your influence, but where are you leading them to? It feels like a lot of people are just using this influence in like a capitalistic kind of sense of like just growth upon growth upon growth, and nothing stops until you're around the whole world. And then like it's even to the point where like, okay, well, how am I going to get this mother who has this baby to have this baby 50 years from now still be
thinking about me?
Yep. You know what I mean? It gets into like it's a very odd psychological play that they're doing right here. Because even when you think of yourself as a god, you almost have no rights over any, or not no rights, but you have no responsibility over anybody because you're higher than them. You know what I mean? Like when you're praying to God doesn't necessarily need your prayers. He accepts them and he wants them, but he don't need them.
Yeah.
Right.
You feel me? So like if you're at that point, bruh, you don't.
That's scary.
It's scary.
And then to think about it, this is the scary part about it. I feel like it's at the point now where they want to spread that concept to these people, these regular people, as they want to say. Because if you look at social media, and if a person got clout, it's the same exact concept. It doesn't matter if this person is in LA or if this person lived next door to me. You know, for example, I know people right now that have over 800 something thousand followers, and it's kind of like they're respected off of that rather than who they truly are.
Yeah, clout's a currency now.
And clout's the currency.
Clout's a currency. Yeah.
Man, we have to remember that one. Clout is currency.
Yeah, clout's a currency.
Which is a sad thing. It's not being glorified.
It is, no.
You know?
It's glorifying yourself. I mean, take it back to, I'm going to just put this out there. I'm a big follower of like scripture now. Take it back to the first sin. Well, the devil literally went up to Eve and said, you want the knowledge of God. You want to be like God. That was literally the first thing. He convinced her to do something, making her feel like she didn't have the knowledge of God. She wasn't a God in and of herself. And we're still living that today, like you're saying.
Man, and look at the devices that we're using. That's spreading the same ideology we're talking about. Because even the God thing plays into new age spirituality, right? Everyone's a God. But look at the back of your phone, bro. Just like you were saying, it's an apple with a bite taken out of it. That represents the fall from us living in this, heavenly place in paradise to falling down to earth because we wanted to. And I feel like a lot of like the technological practices as we view them in the West is a play to kind of retake that. You feel me? Retake to be gods on earth because like we're using this like material world and like wanting to be masters over it. Wanting to be masters over this domain instead of working in synchronicity with it. You feel me? So even like on the new age spirituality thing, like everybody thinking they're a god, man, there can be no collaboration between gods. You feel me? There is one God and
they're sovereign. They believe they're yes. Yeah. And you know what? Just to touch back on what you were saying about what happened in the garden. Yeah. The devil's objective is to keep as much people biting that fruit.
To kill, steal,
whatever
and destroy.
Fruit it was. I don't know. Some say apple, but we're going to go with apple because why in the hell does that apple actually have a bite mark in it? Yeah. And then what? I have so much questions, but I also have a lot of guesswork. Yeah. Inside the answers that I have for my own questions. Yep. And I just want to hear it from you guys. Like Hollywood. Let's tap back into Hollywood because the Hollywood that I know, I've never looked at it in depth, like that. But I'm such an open-minded person where it's like I don't buy into a belief, but I don't close myself out of something being actually true outside of what I know. And that's a you're learnable, you're teachable at that point. And I feel like I'm still in that stage. What happened to you in Hollywood?
It's a great question. I can say I was protected. I can say there were a lot of things that should have happened to me that weren't. And that's got to be God. But I witnessed a lot. I witnessed, like, there's this term that gets thrown around that people don't really understand: selling your soul. They think it's like this: take a pen, sign a contract. It's way more spiritual. It's way more when you are presented with a way of life, and when you're presented with this, like, for example, sin, or when you're presented with what am I trying to say? There's a way to live, and we know when we do right, it feels good. But the world has convinced not convinced, but the celebrities have bought into this ideology that when I know I'm doing something wrong, and when I know I'm screwing over the world, but it brings me up in success, that's selling your soul. Anyone can sell their soul any day. It's that ideology of knowing what's right and knowing in your heart, I'm about to do something that's not right, but I'm going to continue doing it because I'm going to gain off of it. That's selling your soul in a way. And I think the rappers, so I met a producer once, made music for anyone and everyone. And I was sitting there and he's talking about how, I don't know if it was Trippie Redd, it was an artist that he said, I walked in the studio and he was in the room talking to something not of this earth. He's like, I can't describe it. And I saw it in his eyes. Like, when you're looking someone in their eyes and you can see, like, they're not like making this up. They weren't like high on something, seeing stuff. He's like, I saw a creature that is not on this earth. Right. And homie was sitting there talking to it. He's like, I couldn't understand them, but they were just having a conversation. So like you got demons in record studios now just chatting up with these artists. So now the artist knows all these like religion is so based off faith because we don't see it. But if you're an artist in a room seeing it and you're still choosing to be on that side, they're selling their soul. They know it's real. There's the proof is in the pudding. It's right in front of them. And they're still on that wrong side. They've sold their soul.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like when you know the difference between righteousness and unrighteousness, you see that what you're doing is unrighteous, but still make a clear decision to continue doing that.
Yeah.
But the devil also has a lot of power, is what we have to understand.
Yes.
Like you talk about when Jesus went to the desert, right? And he went to the desert for 40 days, dry fasted, and the devil would come to him every so often. He would lift him up off the earth and be like, all this can be yours. Make sujood to me. He said, no, shaitan. And he lifted him up, showed him more. He said, no, shaitan. Lift him up, showed him the whole world. All of this can be yours if you prostrate to me. How many people on this earth are going to take that? You feel me? That's the wager that the devil is presenting these people with. This lifestyle that you want, that you was talking about, where you can have all the drugs, all the women, everything that you want can be yours if you just do for me as I want you to do. Yeah. If you make all these people, come to me and the imagery is out there. It's clear.
Yeah, it's so clear.
I've been to Rolling Loud, dog. They got upside down crosses.
They got Satan popping up on the screens. Yeah. It's right out in our face. Right.
And the part that sucks about it is the analogies. The people can't decipher the analogies because these stories that's told, they think of them in the literal sense. So, for example, I'm going to use something you just said. Okay, he lifted him up off the ground and showed him this and lift him up. And sometimes that can translate into the devil just exposing you to something, to something that you really, really want. And you will be challenged. God don't tempt people as far as I know. He might test you. I'm gonna test. If I have a son, I'm testing your ass. But I'm not gonna tempt you. I'm not gonna put you in a position.
Tell him not to eat the cookie and put the cookie jar right in front of him.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think people are having this confusion going on, and that's why a lot of it become make believe, and a lot of it become like stories and myths, and just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When really the whole the whole meaning flew over their head. You know what I mean? On a lot of stories, I could sit here and go over all of them, but I really, what's up, my brother?
I mean, it's meant to be a timeless story, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are all like metaphors that can be used to stretch over all of history.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Because like the human condition is constant.
Yeah.
The human struggle is constant. We've all come here with similar DNA, with similar wants, with similar desires, and a similar higher purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So it's the same thing that they went through in this time, even though it might look like a different form, like the prostitute offering a little water to the dog, like that got her to heaven. That might be in a different form now, you feel me? Like even an artist you're saying is on this path, maybe he makes just one song going this other way, like the Jesus Walk for Kanye.
Yeah.
Maybe just that one thing got him into there. But these stories aren't meant to be taken literally. They're meant to be taken, and the lessons are supposed to be extracted from them and applied to time now.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, I mean, we're even talking about the word Hollywood. If you break down that wood, it's the holy wood.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the magic wand that they wave around, and their influence is spread over the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about Hollywood, bro, taking over America. American culture is universal.
Yeah.
Completely universal. From this one city, you're talking about this one city and like the mindset that's going on now. That's everywhere that they're trying to like foster that and bring that out of people. And ultimately it's bringing people away from the highest source.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because like even if you go north to Silicon Valley,
Yeah.
their whole thing is like, with the AI thing and with like the Neuralink, like they're trying to create the whole thing of Silicon Valley is like, I want to create a full person without a mother and a father.
Yeah.
If they can do that, they have taken over and they will feel like God.
Yeah.
Right? But there's a story in Islam of like a man who did that, and he took some dirt and he took some clay and he took some water and he sculpted this man and he was talking. God was like, that's cute. Go make your own dirt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go make
Facts.
your own dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very interesting because this goes into so many different things, even like the ritual you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like the initiation. Like these are real things
Yeah.
that have real power that people are using.
Yeah.
You feel me? Even like, I don't know if you know about how the World Bank was founded. The World Bank was founded in like Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, and this was like a very significant like burial ground for Native Americans. And 44 nations came together, and they made this new international monetary system, this new World Bank system. The U.S. became the standard. Other countries, the U.S. could trade $1 for gold, and other countries would have to trade for $1 and then trade the dollar for gold. So everything. And in order to consecrate this, they had to go through these rituals. They had to go to this abandoned place. They had to be on this land that had all this spiritual power on it. You know what I mean? So I don't know if like what is your experience with people actually playing with those kind of like rituals and rites and like spiritual entities in order to further themselves?
So I think so. There's the thing is there's flesh and there's spirit. There's things you can do that benefit your flesh, and this is a lot of ritual things like we hear about, like adrenochrome. You hear about all these things Hollywood does, and that's to benefit their flesh, because you get to a point where, and it's sad to say, I don't think it's true, but it's sad to say, like they think that you get to the point where you can't enjoy anything anymore when you've experienced everything. It's like, what else can I enjoy? And they use these sinful things to just entertain their flesh. But spirits, I don't know, crazy story. This same producer that was telling us that story, we were renting a house up in Calabasas, and we found this picture in the attic, and it was like weird. It was like, it looked like satanic, like it was like a pentagram with like writing around it, super weird. And there were people in the house that are like believers, and they like, we need to burn it. We need to get rid of it. This ain't right. We're living in this house. We can't have it attached to us. And the producer, who had been, first of all, been telling us about how he's about to be a millionaire. He's already made it. He basically told us, like, I made a deal. I know for a fact in 6 months I'm gonna be rich. He's like, I want it. He's like, that's I'm into that type of stuff. He's like, I've read every religious book. I've done all this stuff. I want that. So homie takes it. 2 days later, came in the middle of the night and hung it up on our fence. We don't know why. Weirdest thing ever. Hung it up on our fence. We didn't know till the morning after, but that same night, we had 2 kids sleeping in the garage, and they sleeping on a mattress, looking up at the attic attic door, and they said the attic light turned on, just flipped on. So and the only light switch to the attic was in the attic. So they think, oh, there's someone in the attic. So they wake everyone in the house up, and they're like, yo, we need to call the cops. There's someone in the attic. And then we're like, homies are holding broomsticks. Everything's going on. And we're like, let's check it out first. We pull the attic door down. We get up there. There's no one up there. But this light just flipped on. And then come to find out, we wake up in the morning, and there's this pentagram thing hanging on our fence. Now, I can't tell you what he gained from it. I don't know. But I think it was definitely some weird spirit. I don't know.
So, speaking of that story, man, it kind of had me thinking about Jamaica. And I don't know if that means a lot to a lot of people. With anything in the islands, especially, they kind of like brought that tradition, those spiritual tradition from Africa, and kind of like put it in these places. And you know, the Indians was also there. They were very spiritual.
Ritualistic, yeah.
So down there, you see some creepy stuff, like stuff that I never seen here before. Like I never seen like anything, no ghost stories or nothing here, you know. But when I was there, that's when I knew. But I was so young,
yeah.
But that already solidified the fact that it's real.
It's real,
you know.
Yeah.
And as I got older and I started understanding what I was seeing when I was younger, I'm like, oh snap, the devil is really real. Like this is not a game. And even when I started doing things like astral projecting and entering, playing with the spiritual world. Yeah. When I was younger, I was really lost, and I just had to go explore because I felt like a walking question mark, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
So I was playing with all these religions. I was playing with all these different belief systems, and coming to find out, bro, we just need reassurance that it's real.
Yeah.
And it's kind of remind me of your story of you coming back here as if you've been saved.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been saved.
Yeah.
Because in that time you could have been swallowed up by the ground.
Yes.
Because you was literally on the devil's stomping ground. Yeah. Now you got some distance.
I was on his team.
Yeah.
Which is scary to say. Yeah.
Real shit. And it's funny because even before I went to prison, I was on his team here. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
But it wasn't more in a spiritual sense. It was more on a like nigga, you dumb. Like you just doing dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you whatever. You know what's right and you're still doing what's wrong.
Yep.
That's why. But nah, man, I definitely appreciating you like sharing that, bro.
Yeah.
But I want to hear like the exile part, like you leaving,
prodigal son coming back.
What happened?
I felt lost, like you're saying. I felt really lost. Like when I was, I moved back to Florida February of 2020, right before COVID. In that time period, from February to probably like June or July of that year, literally I was in like, I felt like a mental psychosis. Like I would hang out with people, hang out with my home friends, and I literally I'd go home, I wouldn't remember what we did. I could only think about what I was thinking about. Like I wasn't looking through my eyes, I was thinking with my head. And all because of everything I experienced in LA. Like all the people screwing each other over. I witnessed managers sleeping with people, promising them a contract and not giving it to them. I witnessed like just so much stuff that like I was so consumed in realizing how evil the world is that my will to live was just gone. Because I'm like, what's the point of living in this world when there's all the, like, it's so evil. Why would I want to be a part of it? And I just felt like I was escaping with mushrooms. I was smoking a lot of weed. And I just felt like that was the only time where I had to myself, where I could just block everything out and really like feel anything.
Right.
And it was one night I was in my parents' house and I was just like on their couch weeping. Just in the 2 a.m, just crying.
This was in LA?
This is here. This is when I moved back from Florida. I was just crying. I was like, there's got to be something. There's no way humans live on this earth. Even people that like get exposed to what I got exposed to, like, how do they have a will to live? And long story short, in that moment, I basically like God spoke to me and just revealed to me that I was lost. Revealed to me that like my time in LA was an experience for me to learn and not identify the world as that, but to realize that there's parts of the world like this and there's so much good. And I started to think about all my home friends, all my family that love me, that are good people. And in that moment, I basically just said like, listen, I'm going to live for God. Like, that's it. Like, that's the only thing I think I can do that would change how I feel. I woke up the next day, everything changed. Yeah.
Man, that reminded me of a story. When I was in prison, I got close to coming home because I was down 6 years at this point. And when you getting close to going home, like, you're not worried about messing up now because, like, you made it.
Yeah.
I go home next year. Like, you're around people who's never going home.
Yeah.
And almost 85% of the people around you, to 90% of the people around you are not going home, either within the next 25 years or never getting out, period.
Yeah.
You know, so I felt like, okay, I'm about to go home. I got the temptation. I ain't got to worry about the temptation. It's right next to me. Like, there's fucking bad influence everywhere in prison, you know? And you have to just know which ones are the good ones.
Yep.
You know, and I chose to hang with the good ones, but I always had this soft spot for the bad stuff because that was me at some point. And I kind of enjoyed it. You know, being bad is kind of enjoyable, but is it something you're willing to do knowing that it's wrong? Hell no. You know, but so when I got close to going home, I was just like, man, I'm going to hang out. So all my friends that wanted, well, they wasn't really my friends, but all the people that wanted always try to get me to smoke a stick of Molly or do bad stuff. Like, I bought into it. I was like, man, let me hit that shit. I'm about to be out of here.
Yeah.
And listen, when I hit it, the dude that saw me, he's an older dude. He walked up to me. He said, all right, young buck, I'm gonna holler at you, man. And I'm like, what the hell? First of all, I felt embarrassed because I had a reputation, this clean reputation. You will never really see me around bad influence. I mean, I got along with the dudes that did bad stuff, but I never indulged in it. You know what I'm saying? And when he came up and told me that, later on, he told me, he was like, that's what I meant when I told you, like, see you later, because you're going to be gone. All it takes is that one hit of that stick. And I'm telling you, after I hit that first stick, I became hooked to Molly.
Yeah.
I'm talking about to the point where every night I'm up. Sometimes I'm the only one that's up. Even Molly smokers are coming up to me like, bro, take your ass to sleep. Like,
Yeah.
Dang. I'm there back to back rolling sticks, just going. I'm up. I'm paranoid. I'm tripping. And I'm just like out of there. I was at like 217 pounds, fam. And I dropped down to like 160.
Yeah.
All this happened not only because I was going home, I went to work release and I messed up work release and came back to prison. Do you know how hard it is to leave that place, go touch freedom, even though I'm still in a prison, but I get to leave and go to work? So I'm out there in the real world. And then to make one mistake and they send you back to prison to finish up the rest of your time there. It was hurtful.
Yeah.
I felt, and then everybody's looking at me like,
what'd you do that for?
not only that, it's like you ungrateful. You don't even appreciate freedom. Like, you got people in here that's doing life and you out there, man, you playing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it was, I was embarrassed. It was all type of stuff. So I got on that Molly even harder. And I dropped to like 160. I was skinny out. You couldn't even recognize me no more. Like, it was crazy. But then I went, when I got tired of it, and I really wanted help, but I couldn't help myself, I went to the chapel. So in prison, they have a chapel where you can go to and stuff. And I just sat in there, bro. And I sat in the back, all the way in the back where nobody can see me because that shame, you know? But I needed God. And it's not like I don't know God. At that time, I knew God. So it's like, I felt like prodigal son. I went way out to go do this exploring.
On your own.
And it's like, now I'm at that threshold that I'm not trying to pass.
Yeah.
I'm going to scream for help before I pass that threshold.
Yeah.
You know, and I went inside that church and the preacher got up there and she's looking at me and she's like, you went so far away from God, but he's been waiting on you with open arms.
Yep.
Welcome back. And I promise you, she wasn't talking to me. Well,
she was. God was talking to you.
She was talking
God
to me,
was talking
bro.
to you.
God was talking to
Through
me,
her.
bro.
Yeah.
I broke out sobbing. And one of my friends, he was sitting next to me. He just did this. He didn't even look at me. He just pulled out a napkin. He just went like this. It's all right, my brother. It's all right. Let it out. Open the floodgates.
Yep. Yeah.
And then after that, I sharpened back up.
Yeah.
I didn't care about nothing, know what nobody say, nothing. Like, bro, if you ain't got the power to destroy my soul and destroy me beyond just the destruction that you really understand.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, I don't care. I don't care. I got to get right with God.
There's power in redemption, bro.
And then after that, he just started opening up the doors for everything.
Yep.
To where I'm at right now. He's put good people in my life, such as yourself, which is amazing to have you on the show, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
For real, man. Thank you for your time. And
for
Mick,
sure.
George, y'all can't see him. He in the background right now, but that's the man behind the camera.
Yeah.
Listen, none of this wouldn't be happening right now without him, you know? But so you're out of Hollywood now.
Yep.
What are you doing now? Who are you now?
So I played for a long team for a while, and I know how it made me feel. I know how it left me, and so when I did my 180 switch to play for the other team, to play for, I just simply look at it as good and evil, and every little decision you do in life decides what side you're on. Even how you treat someone, your politeness towards a waiter, whatever you do, it's all wrapped into it. Now in life, I'd say my goal is just giving up my wants and needs and just giving it up to God, saying like, whatever you want. Because like if, not even saying if, but if God is a perfect God and he's all knowing, he knows the best life for me that I don't know. So it's not my job to try to rule and say, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. It's my job to put my hands up and say, put the situations in front of me. And you know when it is. You know when it's the right person. You know when it's the right situation. You can feel it. You can tell the difference between like someone in front of you that the devil's trying to get you off the track and someone in front of you that like God's saying, this is someone that needs to be in your life. And I can only do that by really just every day reminding myself who I am, what I'm here for, what side I'm on. It's easy to go 2 weeks without even thinking about God sometimes in my life. And then I'll wake up and I'll be like, what am I doing? And I'll look at my 2 weeks. I'm like, that was the crappiest 2 weeks of my life. Like, what was I doing? And then I'm like, oh, wait, I was doing this for myself. I was talking to this girl for myself. I was doing this. I went out, you know what I'm saying? And so now it's really just, I strive for perfection, even though it's not obtainable, but I strive to be a perfect human being in God's eyes.
Has God showed you your purpose, your true purpose yet? So I would say for me as a human being in my soul, yes, but not career-wise, which is okay. But in the past year, my purpose has been, I've had 3 people that were so off in life. Not even, God had never been, the name of Jesus has never been spoken to them. Now they're in their Bibles. They're just through my influence of trying to be the best person I can. They recognize it and they go, how can I get what you have? And that's like crazy. Like I say it so humbly, but like it's crazy because that's never happened in my life. I've lived my own life and no one's came up to me and saying like, how do I be more like you? And my answer is be more like him. So that's definitely my purpose now, is just be an example for others. Definitely being from someone that was like, had fame, had the celebrity status, was living in celebrities' houses, and people go, why'd you give it up? And I'm like, because God told me to, because I'm on his team. And then they can't like conceptualize that. They're like, why would you give up the most desired human thing, which is fame, influence, and money, sex and drugs, to now be working a normal job? And I'm like, because the simplicity of it is life is meant to be enjoyed with God, not pushing the extremes of how can I be successful on this earth.
Yeah, man, it's really interesting that like whole process you went through of reshaping yourself. And like, because it's really an everyday thing and it's like a slow process that has to take place. Because if you're on one path for a long time, you've tied a lot of knots in your head or just, you know, done certain things. It's going to take a lot longer to untie those knots, to tie those knots, and a lot more effort and a lot more willpower. You know what I mean? And I feel like all of us kind of go through that because of the images that are like projected out. You feel me? We know every big drug dealer that was here in the 80s. You feel me? Do we know about any great black inventors? Do we know about any of like, just like the great people who really like were behind and like architected our society? It's like, yo, these are the people that we should be looking up to. These are the people who we should take influence from. And the highest version of those on earth are the prophets.
Yep.
You feel me? So the more you learn about them, and the more, not only Jesus, not only Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, but all of them.
Yeah.
Musa, like, they all have something for you to take from them. You feel me? So like going through that redesign process, and wanting to be like God. I wonder if there was like anybody in particular that you really looked at of like, yo, this is a person, or this is a story, or this is a situation that I kind of want to, that I can take positive blessings from, and just improve myself off of this. You feel me?
I'll say because of what I've lived through, I'm very slow to look at a human being and want to be like them, because I've lived through the extremes of influence, because everybody has their faults. But it's a great question. I'd say I grew up in a really good household. I was blessed with, my parents were very particular about who I hung out with. I wasn't allowed to go to a friend's house unless my parents talked to their parents. Like, they set up my childhood to make sure that I was only around like good people. And when I was doing that 180 switch, it was more of my upbringing and realizing how happy and joyful these people were, and loving and actually caring, and like my parents and the people they chose I'd be around. And then I compared it to like my LA friends, or like the people I've been choosing to hang out with now. There's a big difference of just people that care about you, care about us, care about the people around them, versus the person that cares about themselves.
And as like a kid that doesn't look so flashy.
Yeah.
Like,
no, yeah.
Trying to get used to it. It's a constant thing. Mom and dad are happy. But bro, mom and dad been together for 25 years and been on this earth for 55 or however long.
Yeah.
And they're still happy. You feel me?
You can
go out somewhere and be miserable in a year. Be miserable in 2 months. So like whenever I'm looking at like older people and they just have this light coming out of them, like just this eminence, I'm just like, yo, there's some knowledge that you have for me of like how to go through life and how to not just have the sands of time just ground you down.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like that's very possible, especially living here in America, where you just have this constant anxiety, constant stress of survival. So I mean, I feel what you're saying. It's really everyday people. You feel me? That are the people who like I just want to be like my friends, people who I hang around. You feel me? So, and I feel like that's kind of what we're doing here. Like everybody's their own version of celebrity. Everyone can be, you know, an influence on the next person.
Yes.
That's crazy that you said that there's like those three people who you brought, because like I kind of did the same thing with my friend of like bringing my friend to Islam and kind of bringing him to the masjid, having him pray, and we were able to go on that path together.
It's a journey,
and that's a super special thing.
Yep.
You feel me? And I feel like, I don't know, for me, like you were talking about like the 2 weeks that you were going through and like you didn't even think about God.
Yeah.
Because I would go through like the same things. Like I want to be a part of this. I want to like, you know, tap into that consciousness, and I want to be on that level. But there had to be a point where I would like fully submit to it and fully just be a part of that. And for me, that was going through Ramadan and fasting. Because if you're fasting fi sabilillah in the cause of Allah, every day you wake up and you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
This is why I'm
fasting's
hungry.
crazy.
Yeah. This is why I'm like, I'm doing it for a higher purpose. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I mean, like it's just good. It's just good practice. You feel me?
We had a conversation the other day, me and Flo, about like, he asked me, do I enjoy like religion versus just having your own like concept of God? And I just tell him we were in agreement, but like there's parts of religion that are set up, for example, fasting, so that you can keep yourself in the presence of God. And it's important to, you're not like giving up anything, you're not like doing anything, but it's important to stay in those practices that have been on this earth for so long, because it works. Like I need to start, I need to fast again, because like it's such a good reminder. But there's practices that have been established by humans, but given by God, that he goes, I'm giving you this task, I'm giving you this activity so that you can get close with me. But yeah, that's dope.
Honestly, I feel like those practices they're necessary. Bro.
Yes.
Because obviously, if you want to be a good basketball player, you got to go out there and learn these tricks. You got to go out. If you want to master that behind the back and finger roll and all that, you got to practice. You got to put in that work. And I feel like that's what these methods are that God kind of, like you said, hand to man to spread to the people. And they got boxed in this word called religion. But I mean, it is good. It is good for you physically and spiritually. And that's always your reminders. Sometimes we don't remind ourselves up here, but when we already set ourselves, we trained ourselves to be on automatic with keeping God in your presence. You know, by your daily activity, your daily way of thinking,
giving up fleshly desires,
your daily way of dealing with people. Like, there's just certain things I can't do to people. It's not.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy. Like, I used to be like a little thief, you know? I didn't mind taking stuff from Walmart. I didn't mind just not like crazy stuff. I wasn't, but like now even Walmart, like they got millions and millions of dollars. I'm taking a soda. They're not going to mind, but it's like, that's not what God wants me to do.
Exactly.
It's not going to hurt them. It's not going to hurt me, but it's like, it's the bigger picture. It's the little activities that just make you, that separate you from God in that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And then go to tying it in with influence. Like, there's people watching.
Yep.
These people around you are watching. It's just like how you was talking about your friends. Like, yo, I changed their life by just being me. The man that, you know, the higher power chose for me to be, by me submitting to that. And then these people come around and they're like, man, how do you get that? How do you have that? You know what I'm saying? I remember, even not to keep bringing up prison stories, but that's kind of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was in prison, there was this old school. So how it is, it's bunk beds, and it makes like a horseshoe. So think about like a whole bunch of bunk beds aligned on this wall, and they're double beds, but in the middle of that horseshoe, they're single beds. And they usually put people who can't climb up on the top bed, or medically there was assigned to a single bed. They're in the middle. So there's this old school dude that I just used to watch. And I used to be like, how in the hell you not bothered by this stuff? And I remember I was like, man, if I want advice from anybody, man, I want advice from him on how to be humble. What the hell do you, even if you don't even know you're doing it or whatever, I just want to ask him and see if, you know. And I went up to him and I'm like, yo, what's up? How you do that? Because there's people watching. I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one that saw that. Like, yo, damn, dude is very humble. When shakedown is going on, when a person is getting stabbed up, when chaos is going around, all of a sudden this person just have that inner peace. You know what I'm saying? So we're being watched, bro. We're being watched, and I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Even if you were in LA with the mindset you have now,
it'd be different.
Yes.
I went to LA in May, and I was able to go to church with friends. It was just a home group thing that they just got together and talked about God. And it was just so crazy for me because I have such a dark, negative picture of LA, the energy there, you can just feel it. But to be there and to be involved in like the light it was cool. I always wonder if I'm going to go back. I know that God put me through those situations for a reason. Like, he didn't just put me in those situations so that I can live the rest of my life myself, knowing this, why I'm like talking about it here. But like, there's God, like, I don't know. I don't want to say it's my plan, but God definitely has a plan for me to hopefully expose the lies, hopefully expose the people, but we'll see.
Yeah. And even with the podcast right now, what we're doing here is we're pretty much going back to save people. I know we can't like throw ropes and can't come back and grab your hand physically for a lot of people, but thank God for these devices that we could have been using them for, you know, our own selfish reasons or whatever, but instead we mapped out a mission and we're sticking to that mission. So if you're watching this right now, we are actually, our intention at least is to put that effort for it to help everyone that is watching, because inside of these walls of information that is being given to you, it's solutions in there. You know, these stories, just like we was talking about, some stories, he said it out his mouth, but if you can see the lesson in there, if you can really take me out the picture when I'm telling the story and see where that solves something for you, especially when the problem is so common. You know what I'm saying? So That's good, man. That's good. I don't know why. I have a strong feeling you're probably gonna, as you get older, you're probably gonna take a trip out to LA, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna go on a mission.
Yeah, for sure.
Missionary.
It'll happen.
Thing.
That'd be dope.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
To go back and save the same people like that you were, or like something you was a part of. To go in there and split that up and kind of like save it from the inside out and stuff. Or save like that.
Yeah, just one person.
Sick, right? Yeah, and if you need us to come with you, we got you, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
You are some solid people.
That's good, man. That's good, man.
I don't even like. Yeah.
There anything you want to leave the people with? Like, if there's anything, I need like 2 things from you that you want to leave the people with, like the most valuable things you can think of.
All right. 2 things. One, I'm gonna say, you got to be careful what you let in on social media, music, because like the world really does not understand how influence works to a psychological degree. That when you're looking up to someone, your brain starts to want to be like them. And so like the first 2 commandments, have one God before you, don't bow down to any idols. Don't let your influencers become your idols. It's big. And it happens without you even realizing it. Like when you wake up in the morning and you go, oh my gosh, my favorite YouTuber, my favorite TikToker dropped a video today. I got to go check it out. Do you think about that before God? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's now becoming your idol over God. And then secondly, I just say life is so short. Like this conversation is so deep, and it's so good to have these conversations to help the people. But at the same time, like start to realize really what makes you happy and joyful, which is loving others. The simple things. Our world is so distracted on becoming millionaires and buying Bugattis and Lamborghinis and flying across the world and owning a nice watch, when that's not what truly is going to really give you the satisfaction in life. It's these relationships, these conversations. Put yourself in situations where you can really, like an hour just went by and it felt like 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's because we're sitting here doing something that like is truly beneficial and that we love, versus striving for these things that just are so unsatisfying. So yeah, to the people, love yourself, love life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that, bro. I'm not gonna lie, because the reason why I love it is because you gave eternal information.
Yeah.
You didn't come on here and like gave some temporary stuff. You know?
Yeah.
This is, no matter how much time you heard it and how simple it sounds to you, that is universal information right there. Mm-hmm. You can take with you for the rest of your life.
And once you get it, spread it to others. Yeah. It's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We want everybody to go up.
I mean, I got one thing that I could leave, and I feel like this is kind of what we've been talking about. Like, look into other people for entertainment, look into other entities for things, look into material to fill yourself up. Man, you got everything that you have inside of yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't live in that state of lack.
Yeah.
Don't live in that state of like, I need this girl so that I can complete myself. I need this car so I can look like this. Like, dog, you have diamonds and crystals encoded into your DNA. Mm-hmm. You just have to find ways that you can tap into that and just explore yourself. Have a couple minutes a day where you just listen to yourself. Tap in and listen to your heartbeat.
Yeah.
You feel me? Tap in and listen to your breath. Be aware of how you're breathing. You feel me? Because like even from that, you can tell if you have like certain problems like in your lungs. Like, man, just take a couple minutes a day and just be aware. My other thing would be right when you wake up. So y'all have no excuses. I got distracted. I got that. Like one test I use for myself to kind of see where I'm at. How long after I wake up do I say Alhamdulillah? How long after I wake up do I say praises be to God? He just saved me from this lesser death and brought me back to my body. You feel me? Certain days it'd be like an hour. Yeah. It's like, damn, I forgot.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. I just took that shit for granted.
Yeah.
Quick. So I mean, don't take your blessings for granted, man. We're in this place in this country that is fucked up in a lot of ways, but has so much for us to gain from it. Mm-hmm. So don't look your blessings in the face and like disregard them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Use them to be better. Don't be enslaved by these things, but be a master over these things.
Absolutely. Powerful.
Yeah.
More universal information, y'all. I love it. How y'all feeling? I know y'all love it. I wish I could hear y'all right now.
Yeah.
For real, for real.
Yes, sir. Cameraman in the back going crazy.
He going crazy. He love it. Hey, listen, he could barely focus on the cameras because he's so locked in. This is jewels being handed to an innocent child.
Yep.
All of us are innocent child. If you strip a man of his clothes, of all his things that he obtained in his life, all these material things, all the things that give him a sense of identity, if you strip him of all that, you're going to see a little child. You're going to feel sorry for them. You're going to want to help them. You're going to see that person for who they are. That's why when a person does something, understand that that's not truly them that's doing it. It's whatever they're possessed by at that moment. Hopefully they're possessed by the spirit of the Most High, but a lot of times we just need to, like you said, bro, step back, man. So you can see the bigger picture. Like what I can't see. Oh, definitely can't see. I can't see my hand if my hand is all up in my face.
Yeah.
If I take my hand back and I can really see how it's sculpted, I can really see how defined it is. I can see how carefully and how much attention was put into this. But a lot of us, we can't see because we're so locked in and have like a front row seat when some of us need to go sit in the back.
Yep.
And prepare to sit in the front seat. You know what I'm saying? Mold yourself. Get yourself together. I don't know your problems. I can relate to some of them, but I don't know how your problems have affected you to become the person who you are now. You know yourself best. Other than the Most High, you know yourself best, right? So you know what flaws you have. You know what's your biggest downfall and what's holding you back, your barriers, all that. Man, it's about that time. It's about that time. We see what's going on in Hollywood. And we see what's going on right here where we at, wherever you at across the world, because this thing is, like we said, universal. The influence has spread it. Mm-hmm. The culture has spread it. And it's very infectious. Yeah, I just want to say that.
We got to raise up some influencers not scared to talk about this too.
Absolutely.
Because that's the issue.
Yeah.
Like not to get long into it, but like the world is so prone to like taboo this types of conversations because like we know how Hollywood works. We know how evil works. We know how and that thrives that like when people bring up anything good, any good things, to deflect it, it's like, oh, you can't talk about that on the internet. Mm-hmm. You get canceled. Like, no, we gotta get people out of that mindset and know, like, stand up for yourself, stand up for what you believe and talk about it.
Man, fuck that. We got to create our own communities.
We
got to create our own systems. Because a lot of times you can go to somebody and be like, yo, you got to come to God. You got to do this. But what's the alternative that you're presenting them with? Because then they see it and they're like, well, I got to give up all this stuff that I enjoy and that all. So, bro, I feel like because we had this conversation on the culture thing about how can you be in a society, in a culture that is toxic and still change it? Mm-hmm. And I feel like, yes, you have to understand this culture, but you also have to create your own.
Yes.
You got to create. And like we have people like you, alhamdulillah, who understand how to get out this influence, who understand how to like, tap into the psychology of like people's minds and like, and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's really, that's really where we have to push towards. Yeah. You feel me? Creating like create our own Black Wall Street. Create our own like little Hollywood down here in Atlanta or wherever, like with just completely from the ground up with the right influences and with the right like message and with the right mission. Yeah. Because I feel like time does so much to a lot of these things that if Hollywood's been going on this path for centuries, it's gonna take a lot to pull.
It's happening though.
Pull the pendulum back. It's definitely
it's starting.
But it's gonna take a cosmic size event to move that big megastar the other direction. Yeah, you feel me? So I feel like that's kind of what we're on the path to right here. Yeah, and just every day more people we meet, more people we connect to, the network builds, and it's gonna happen in God's time
for sure.
Choose 100 leaders over 1 million followers.
Facts. You said that to me the other day. It hit me in my heart. Yeah.
Which one would you take right now? After this conversation, would you take 100 world leaders or would you take 1 million followers on Instagram? Only on Instagram. you can't get the best of all worlds, all right? But choose. Yeah. All right? Call to action. Yeah. Listen, guys, step back. Step back. I want you to stop after this video, and we all have time. Don't hit me with the, oh, I'm too busy, I ain't got time. Bro, we all have 30 minutes in our day, even while we're working. You can find 30 minutes while you're working. Mm-hmm. Right? Stop. Look around you. Look into your life. Look at yourself. And really question yourself. What question? I don't know. But ask questions. That way you can start searching. That way you can start searching for solutions. Become solution-based. I know it's so easy to see the problems. That's the first thing we see. I know some of the people that's stressed out and have anxiety and all this, whatever, because they either see the problem first, or when they do see a problem, they dwell in the problem. Instead of, and you can't change it. The problem still exists, whether you stress about it or not. So why stress about it? Might as well just start solving it. Hey, listen, a glass of milk just spilled. All right. I can sit in here and be like, damn glass of milk. Look. I can really turn up by the glass of milk. You know what I'm saying? Or I could just be like, okay, y'all don't move. Let's fix that. Hey, bro, grab the mop. Hey, grab the shovel and pan. All right, boom. Yeah. Look how fast it got cleaned up. And the milk is not complaining. And the broken glass is not complaining.
Yeah.
Call to action. Step back. Step back from your day sometimes. And remember why you are truly here. What is truly important to you. All right? Listen, I want to thank y'all for being here, man.
You.
Like, for real, dog. We had a serious conversation today.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, these the type of ones that get, pushed out and brushed under the rug.
Yep.
And deflected and slapped off real quick. Like,
yeah,
let's talk about this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
talk about the distractions in life.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no.
Thank you guys for being here, man. That concludes our episode. Another call to action. Here it comes. Hit that like button. I'm going to put it right here. Smash that comment button and all that good stuff. I don't know how they say it.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. Listen, if this is truly helping you, I don't want you to do it because I told you to. If this is really helping you, and I want you to go watch other episodes as well, too. Don't just watch one episode and feel the vibe. No. Go and see if you really are obtaining life-changing information from this, if it helps you. And if it is, I think you need to be a part of this. Also, if you got a story to tell, like I just went up to Flo and I was like, yo, I think I could be on the podcast. We got some stuff to talk about. If you know Flo, hit him up. If you don't know Flo, hit him in the DMs. Yeah. Because like maybe you fly out to Florida, have a nice little conversation. Hey, who knows? Listen, that's the step we're taking right now. You don't have to be no celebrity. You ain't got to be from Hollywood. Talk about life after. Hollywood. It don't matter. As long as you just have that story, man, and you know your story. You can get on here and share that information with people. So, Tucker, where can they find you? How can they keep up with you? Honestly, I quit social media 3 years ago. I don't really post on social media. You can follow me on Instagram, hit me in the DMs if you want to have a conversation, but I don't post. But I'm gonna get back into posting eventually. I have to find my route with it because like I would have to do it only for like my memory's sake and it'd be nothing about fame and success. But I don't want to like fuel the flame. But don't get me wrong. There's blessings and curses on everything. So there's good in it, and I'm just trying to figure out how I can be the good in the social media space. So what's your name on 12 Tucker H. So 12 Tucker Tucker like sucker punch. Like hey, be careful if you start rhyming with it. Oh my God, I just caught on to that. Hey, listen. So 12 Tucker H on Instagram. Make sure y'all follow. Y'all already know where to find us at Lyfe After Podcast on all platforms except for Twitter. Yeah, it's Lyfe After Pod. Why I pronounced that whole thing? Twitter. I don't know. Twitter. Huh? Oh, with the Y. Ooh. See? I'm telling you, that's why you need good people around you. Cameraman. Lyfe After, Lyfe After Podcast. All right, y'all go check us out. It was a pleasure having you, and that concludes our episode. See you in 2 weeks.